All right, and we are live. Hey, Amanda.
Hey,
What's going on?
Ben.
How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good. I know we were just chatting a moment
How's
ago.
it over there in Chicago?
It's good. It's fine. What's going on? How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
So, good. I know we were just chatting. I'm going to close that out. So, anyway, first of all, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I know we have kind of two live streams going on right now. This is our new YouTube channel where Men and I are here to do a little preview, as you know, of the April Outturn that's coming out in the USA. And we're pretty excited about it. This is the first time we've done something like this. And I think the idea is, for those of you who are not familiar with the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, we're an international members club of whiskey enthusiasts all around the world. And what we're doing that's a little unique is we bottle individual casks of whiskey for our members every single month. So every month we have new and exciting whiskeys coming out. Everything is cask strength, poured straight from the barrel, non-chill filtered, naturally colored. And it's really the essence of pure Scotch whiskey. And so every month we have these different whiskeys. And Amanda and I were talking, we thought, hey, it'd be really cool to do a live hangout every month and kind of taste these whiskeys. And so for anybody, if you're a member of the society or interested in learning more, it's a good opportunity to really kind of just get an insider's opinion of, what do they taste like? Are they worth buying? So that's kind of what we're doing today. We're going to kind of be following along the comments. If you on YouTube, if you have any questions about anything or want to kind of share your thoughts, by all means, we'll be trying to address as many as we can. We're going to try not to take up too much time, but we have a lot of whiskeys to get through, actually 7 in total today. So we'll try to move things along. So just kind of checking the chat right now. Drinking Caveman, good to see you. Bugula 2, IG fanboy, gushing. Okay. Fanboy of Drinking Caveman or of us, I don't know.
Gushing.
Gushing.
We have 7 casks to get through, and as Ben said, this is as pure as it gets. So everything on the table tonight is cask strength, straight from the cask. Higher proofs for sure. So we're going to go slow and responsibly, but really jumping right in there with this delightful one that we recommended to viewers to sip along with us. It is cask 9.113, and it is called Chili Lime Popcorn. And I have to say that we're off to a really, really good start. This really sets the tone nicely.
Yeah, Amanda and I thought it'd be cool to not only just preview some of the whiskeys, but pick one of those casks that might be from a few months ago or more. There are a few that we have at the society that have kind of gone under the radar and they're still available. And Amanda and I went through, we tasted all of those and wanted to figure out what's a cask that either a lot of members already have or one that's still available that's, I think, really kind of gone under the radar, as I said. So this is definitely one of them. This is I'll kind of hold it up. Obviously, everything is naturally colored here, but this is a beautiful 20-year-old Speyside whiskey. And I think it's the ABV, correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda, this is about 60.8% ABV. You can hear this. And I'm holding this up to the camera. I don't know if you can see this, but all the sediment, like from the natural cask oils and the oak itself, is all in there. It's rarely do you see this sort of debris, if you will, of a whiskey. It's kind of cool, nerdy thing to say, but
so on the nose, it's very caramel right away.
Yeah, it's definitely right away. Like I haven't even tasted it yet, but you can really kind of feel the texture just from the aroma. It's rich and heavy.
It's very oily. There's a lot of oil.
Yeah, I mean it's American oak ex bourbon. That toasted caramel is really there, and it's very much like a dessert whiskey for me, like a little bit of a creme brulee.
Absolutely, creme brulee for sure. I was going to say banana flambe, something very caramelized and sweet.
So as we're kind of going through this one, I just want to kind of jump in and whoa, comments are flying in here. So looks like some people are drinking different whiskeys from the society as well. 3304 is, yes, that's what we're going through. Jason's drinking some Annock 24. That sounds great.
Nice.
And someone's drinking the 10.118 from a couple of weeks
nice. I love that distillery.
Here's Steve, 29220. Okay, Steve, you're still in that 29th.
Wow.
Got one of those coming. So just to kind of recap, this is cask number 9.113, Chili Lime Popcorn. It's one that came out just a few months ago, I think, and actually there are a few still available. It's 20 years, refill hogshead, 60.8% ABV, priced at around $170, which it's by no means a cheap whiskey, but I think for a 20-year at this sort of ABV, it's really it's unique in my opinion.
Yeah. So this is the only one that we are not debuting for the first time today. This is not part of the brand new casks that were released for April. This is from a couple of months ago, but it is very noteworthy. And anyone drinking it at home?
Well, at least it looks like a lot of people are drinking different casks. Scotch for Everyone's drinking 125.7. Ooh, I know that one. He's a big fan, as am I. Man, this one is crazy. It's 20 years. The strength of something of this age, 2 decades,
yeah,
really just unheard of. And so when you taste it, it's really it attacks at first, then it really mellows out, and the creme brulee note really opens up.
Totally. I could sip this one easily without water. I think with water it would be even more decadent, but it's easy to sip. This is a fireplace whiskey for sure. A dessert whiskey.
I'm gonna add
a nightcap, if you will.
What's that?
It's a bit of a nightcap, so we're starting.
Yeah. I was thinking, it's kind of versatile. I mean, it's something this is the kind of whiskey I think, like on a spring afternoon, if I'm outdoors, it's a little cold, this would be perfect. But you're right, after dinner with a light dessert, this is it's
totally
really
decadent.
Let's see here. So people are really arguing over the 29220 from a couple months ago.
Already? Oh no.
West Coast folks a favor and please do it later tasting one day. Oh yeah, the schedule.
Oh, former West Coast right here. Sorry guys. That was insensitive of us. This video will be available for at least 24 hours after we were live though.
Yeah, we're gonna repost this tasting once we go through everything. So sorry, West Coasters on the East Coast. We want to. It's tough. We have members all over the country.
Yeah.
Want to consider everybody, but we will keep that in mind for the next time. But
so, what do you say, Ben? We jump into unveiling the first one from the Outturn from April.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'm going to put the 9.113 down. That was the chili lime popcorn. Really exquisite, super decadent, definitely a nightcap for me anyway. It's how I would love to end the night on a high note. But starting the tasting with it as well, it is completely just out of this world. Easy to sip at 60.80. Sorry, 60.8. So jumping into number one, we are at 28.35. And this was just released today. At the bottom right here.
I guess we should mention all these casks were just released today, this afternoon rather. So let's see here. So we have
is a song of spring and summer. So very appropriate. What do you get off the nose, Ben?
So right away, so this is a 9-year whiskey in a second bill hogshead. Right away, just obviously have a small amount in the glass here. It's just very vibrant and fruity. Straight away, it's very fresh, very clean. Some notes of thinking in the summer, a dewy grass type of element.
Yeah.
Just wet, damp grass. A bit
of wet grass.
It's very bright and fresh and vibrant. It's absolutely the aroma that's indicative of a summer morning or, well, I guess, what did you say the name of it? Oh, a song of spring and summer.
Yes, a song of spring and summer. Yeah, totally. Summer morning or that morning dew. There's a little bit of herbaceousness with a touch of that acetone note that you do sometimes get on the nose. It's very balanced and kind of on the savory side as well.
Yeah. Comment from a Sherry. Oh wait, Brianna. I love the single cask Distillery 9 that have been coming out this year from the Society. Yeah, I have seen a few of these. Before I joined the team here, I was really enjoying, just as a member, buying some of these. When I if I do a tasting, I find myself really starting off with a lot from this distillery. And I think particularly something at this age, it's relatively young, but it's been enough time in the wood where it's developed really a full, complex experience.
Totally.
It's a fun one. It's a fun whiskey, I would say.
Yeah. So the ABV is ringing in at 60.3. And again, similar to the one prior, I don't really need to add water to this. It is, again, really, it sips elegantly. I'd love to add water to see if some of those morning grassy, dewy notes open up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we just had a 20-year-old at like a similar ABV. Alcohol content is really high in both of these.
Yeah.
But that one's a little more intense, and usually it's the older ones that you can drink without water. This one is surprisingly smooth at only 9 years old. I mean, I think 9 years is a good amount of time, but relative to 2 decades, I like this one.
It's one of 204 bottles.
So, great whiskey to start tasting. Ooh, okay, there's a kick. I got a hour. It's more intense. I took a bigger sip.
Yeah, that was a swig. Oh.
Yeah, but it's still, even with water, I think it benefits from the addition of water. It's a little spicy up front. It's very, very lively.
There's a little bit of nice chocolate and raisin things going on the palate as well. It kind of, the nose is very interesting actually compared to the palate. I totally get that morning dew nose, and then kind of going into a bit of a more richness with chocolate, raisin, even a bit of like dustiness coming through.
Oh, it's very good. I think that's something that's kind of out of the beyond the spectrum of what I typically enjoy. I mean, I mentioned I purchased some in the past. I have a lot of friends who love this. It's a bright, approachable whiskey, but at cask strength, it kind of throws you for a loop.
Yeah,
because it is so intense as well. But it's really, really good.
Does anyone have any questions about 28.35 before we move on to the next?
Yeah, just kind of catching up. A lot of comments coming in.
Okay.
Tom R, good to see you. Tom was at our hangout with the Scotch Test Dummies the other day. He's a fellow Chicagoan. Glad you could make it.
Chicagoan.
The Whiskey Watch says, get Amanda a whiskey shelf. But Amanda has a big whiskey shelf. It's just not in view.
I lost you live on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Well, we're here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody who's watching on YouTube, we also kick this off on Instagram to go along with this, and so you can see it there as well. But anyway,
if anyone wants to buy me a whiskey shelf, I can definitely arrange that address for you to send it to.
So you want to move on to the second one? We have really 7 whiskeys, and this is going to be
We're now on whiskey number 3, the second release from the April Outturn that came out today, and that is from Distillery 112, and it is the 18th cask. It's called A Culinary Trip Around Britain, one of my more favorite names that I've seen as of recently. Culinary Trip Around Britain. It's a 9-year-old second fill hogshead ex-bourbon Highland whiskey from one of 311 bottles from this cask. Ooh, totally different direction.
This is interesting. So on paper, this whiskey sounds almost identical. Obviously, a different distillery, but it's 9-year-old Highland whiskey in a second fill American oak ex-bourbon hogshead. 60% ABV, right? And I think the price this is a price around $100. So this is interesting because on paper, it's the same thing. So we'll find out how different it really is. What do you think, Amanda?
I'm getting a lot of caramelized banana, even a bit of like a rummy type nose.
That's so wow.
Right?
I promise I didn't make that comment about seeing how different it was because it would be, but this is an entirely different whiskey. Oh, like it's going back to compare.
It's definitely, because we've been drinking a little bit of rum these days, it has a rumness to it. It has a bit of funkiness on the palate and a very distinct sweetness on the nose. Banana, again, caramel, but more funk. There's much more funk than the first two, for sure.
Yeah, it's like this weird combination, and weird might not be the right word. Maybe interesting is a better descriptor, but like ripe banana, vanilla cake frosting, but it's got like this sourdough bread, and like these.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like a cured salmon, almost of an aroma in it, with a little bit of dill. It's wow.
Wow.
That's kind of so you said rum. That's interesting. I'm getting like, and I've never experienced this, but like a tequila note. It's I mean, maybe not. That's might be a little too extreme, but it's definitely.
No, it's yeah, sure, a little bit of like an agave-esque note. For me, it's definitely there's a rum element to it, but maybe because we've had our nose in a lot of rum. So going back to the name, culinary trip around Britain. Interesting. Um,
Yeah, very malty.
mhm.
Yeah, like in the palate, mid palate, it's like beef stew or
Very
very
malty,
interesting.
weighty. I think this would be a great food pairing whiskey, like in the middle of the meal, a heavier dish. Some
Yeah,
sort of stew or beef stew, like you were saying, would definitely go really complimentary with this.
yeah, I think you're spot on. I mean, obviously it's just our opinions, but I think I tend to agree with that because I don't, I don't usually drink whiskey with the meal. I don't know, traditionalist, I pair like a wine with the meal, but this is different than anything I've ever had. But it's really tough to really figure out. I mean, I know we're trying to drop some tasting notes here and there, but there's nothing to really compare it to. So I think with dinner, like with a beef stew or, I think would be
Totally.
very cool.
And this is the one, Ben, you said you got a bit of sourdough off of, right?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you describe like this funk.
Yeah.
It's malty, like there's some cereal notes in there. And I think
Definitely some cereal.
I love sourdough bread. Like you're talking about, it smells like rum because you've been drinking a lot of rums. I eat a lot of sourdough bread.
Yum.
Um,
Yeah, I really enjoy this one. It's very distinct. I think you said it was interesting compared to the last two, but it's definitely a standalone from the last two.
so I'm going to add some water. So this for those of you guys who are just joining us right now, this is cask number 112.18, 112.18, a culinary trip around Britain, 9-year-old Highland whiskey matured in a second fill hogshead, bottled at 60% ABV, priced at $100 US. So have you added water to this one? What do you think? Are you still drinking it neat?
I'm still drinking it neat. I'm actually going through the whole lineup neat first. Might revisit with water at some point. I think this was intended for food pairing, to be honest. I'm a purist too. I love wine with food, but this is will hold up really nice to a weighty entree of some sort.
So some people are asking about, Brianna asked about, is this kind of akin to mezcal? I mean, I meant tequila comment, and I think it's probably, to your point, the agave. It's more funky than tequila, I don't know. It's hard to compare this to anything, but the Whiskey Watch is asking if this is more like a Mexican braised meats marinated in Mexican braised meats marinated in mezcal.
Wow, nailed it. I
haven't really tasted that before, but if I were to guess what that would taste like.
Can you read that again, Ben? What it's?
Yeah, Steve's is it like Mexican braised meats marinated in mezcal?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now I want beef stew. I do too. I want beefs. I'm sitting here with all this whiskey and I shouldn't be complaining, but like I want beef stew now too.
I know, I'm hungry.
So this is good. This is
I actually, this one is, I'm happy to have a place for this bottle on my back bar.
Yeah.
Or my back dress.
So just to kind of clarify for everybody watching, we're going through 7 whiskeys here. Well, 6 from the current Outturn that just came out today. There's a total of 8, so there's 2 that we're not going to be tasting, but we chose 6 just to really kind of find a diverse collection within that without getting everyone. Amanda actually got 3 of the bottles and I got 3 of the others, and we did a sample swap, so we mailed each other samples. So I spent a little bit more time with some of the whiskeys and she spent some more time with the others. So these 2, I'm just really kind of tasting them for the first time. So I'm thinking I might go get one of these just because at the price point, it's different than anything I've ever had.
Yeah, it's coming in just at $100. I like the releases from the Society that are in that price point range. I feel like they tend to really work for your attention and surprise you and delight all the time. But this one is for sure one that I would keep on my back bar, which is running out of room.
Shall we go to the next one?
Yeah, so let's jump into the fourth whiskey we're trying, the third that we are debuting from the April Outturn that was released today in the US. Wow.
So this one's this is an interesting one. So this is also from distillery number 9. You know, we started this off with the 9.113, which is a cask that came out a few months ago that a lot of members really enjoyed, and so we wanted to bring it back. But this is 9.124. It's called Madeira Market Coffee Break.
Ooh.
It's younger than the first one we tried. It's 12 years old. It's also matured in a refilled ex-bourbon hogshead. It's bottled at 56.2%. And just, you know, just to let you guys know, since it's available now, it's priced at $125 US.
Right.
This is one I've actually been sipping on for the last week or two, getting to know it a little bit. You want me to start, or do you want to kick it off? How do you want? I'm a little eager to like just.
I jumped right in as you were talking.
Okay.
Right in. Wow. Okay, so it's hard to believe that this comes from the same distillery that we started with, correct? So they're both from Distillery 9.
Yeah.
I'm seeing not many similarities on the nose overall. Can you remind me again, Ben, what was the barrel finish on this?
Yeah, so it's the same. What's interesting, it's the same type of cask. It's a refill ex-bourbon hogshead.
Right.
It's been, you know, so on paper, it's like, okay, is it the same whiskey, but 8 years younger than what we started with? It technically is. You know, obviously there are a lot of variables that could, you know, impact the flavor and aromas of a whiskey. But this is, I think, one that we thought would be a little different than it really is.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because I'm pleasantly surprised. This is like on the nose.
Very aromatic.
Oh yeah, like rose water or sake. I'm thinking like sake, like a rice wine.
Totally.
It's but what's interesting, like it's floral, it's malty. It kind of smells like, I don't know, a fermentation tank. Like if you go to a distillery, this reminds me of what a distillery actually smells like.
Totally, it's that malt. You get a lot of malt on the nose, but it has a really nice like brush of floralness. And again, spot on, Ben, with the sake call out. It is really aromatic. It has a beautiful nose.
Yeah. So for people commenting, if you're in the UK, you know, in the US, and really kind of every country that the society has a branch present, we have different outturns with a different list of curated whiskeys each month. And so sometimes there could be some overlap, but a lot of times like what we're coming out with today in the United States could be different from what the UK is coming out with. So just for people asking, so again, there might be some overlap sometimes, but this one that we're tasting today is completely, you know, specific to the United States.
Yeah. Overall, the releases per country are all pretty comparable. Sometimes we'll get a cask and then skip that number of the cask from the same distillery, vice versa. But I think we get a lot of strong casks in the US.
You know, I think my opinion, it keeps changing in this one. It's when you taste something on its own, it's easy to make a judgment. When you taste it alongside, like what we are right now, in a vertical, it's like a different experience. And I think you learn a bit more about it. And so, yeah, it tastes like it's from a totally different distillery as the first 9 that we tried.
Totally different. It's like night and day. A good example about something that I run into a lot of with our members is, and myself included actually, we get loyalty to these distillery numbers, but this is an example where it's really important to really focus on the flavor rather than the distillery, because it is like night and day from that chili lime popcorn, that first one we started out with from Distillery 9, coming now to the 124th cask from the same distillery. So almost 10 casks between, not like that matters, but really, really totally different.
Yeah, I really appreciate just the raw essence of kind of what this whiskey represents. It's surprisingly palatable at cask strength at 12 years. It's, you know, it's an average age, I would say. Good age behind it.
It's a nice age, yeah.
But
a good 12 years.
Yeah, it is. I think the experience to be had is surprisingly more developed than the average 12-year-old whiskey, especially at this strength. I think it's beautiful. I thought this might be, I like this one a lot.
You're not picking any favorites though, right, Ben?
Well, they say that like it should be like our children.
Yeah, we can't pick favorites amongst the children.
I'm totally picking a favorite.
I had a favorite a few back.
No, I think so far these three have been really good.
They've been exquisite. Let's jump into number 5 that we are tasting today, but the 4th one from the April Outturn, which was released today. This is one of those distilleries that I tend to collect and be loyal to myself for many reasons. Hailing from Orkney, we are going to, let's see, the name, Smoked Plum Lemonade. Ben spent a little time with this one earlier this week.
Yeah, this is 4226, 4.226. If those of you who are on YouTube and follow other whiskey vloggers, if you will, did a live stream with the Scotch Test Dummies on their YouTube channel. They actually just posted a review of this one today as well. So I had some time to really kind of get to know this one a little bit. I really enjoyed the live stream with those guys. I know some of you are there as well, so I really appreciate you showing up. Anyway, this is a cracking whiskey. I mean, it's from Orkney. It's a peated whiskey. The peat in Orkney is very different from the type of peat that you'd find like on the island of Islay. It's sweeter. It's more delicate. It's not as intense and medicinal. So it's just kind of like this thin veil of freshly cracked pepper and a bit of smoke. 12 years in a refill puncheon, a sherry cask, bottled at a crazy 64.5%. So this is a wild raw whiskey in a glass right here. And I've talked a lot about it, and I think it's just interesting because on the nose, it's like a heavily oaked Chardonnay. It's very white wine-like with that classic sea breeze, and it's a bit floral too.
Yeah, there's a bit of minerality and definitely some savoriness to it. I always equate this type of nose for those wine lovers in the group to a nice dry mineral forward Riesling. It's again very agreeable with food pairings, savory, that influence of the sea, that really delicate peat that Ben was talking about, which to me translates to a bit more of a floral essence overall. But of course, that really nice savory drop in the middle. This one was also the Amanda's selection of April. So we're getting a lot of love for Cask 4.226.
Yeah, and usually the whiskeys that the Society has been bottling, I think over the past year from this distillery, have been a bit older. And I have some back here that I purchased kind of before I joined the team just as a member that were about 20 years-ish. Really, really love those. But I do like a young whiskey if it's peated. Totally different experience. This one, I think from this distillery is heavily peated, not in the sense that they're peating the barley, smoking the barley to a higher ppm, but it's just on the palate, the explosion of the smoke is much greater than anything I've experienced from this distillery.
Yeah. At
neat, but if you add a little bit of water, it really subdues that peat, and I'm gonna do that right now because I just know this is where it really excels. Just a little bit of water. It's beautiful. Those sherry. I know you're tasting neat right now. Those sherry cask notes really come out when you add a little bit of water. The fruit is in perfect harmony with that Arcadian peat smoke. It's floral. It's grassy. For me, it's everything that I'd want out of a 12-year bottle at a mind-boggling 64.5%.
Totally. Well said. Cheers, Ben. That's right on.
We've been running through this, and that's so good. So hey, I should probably catch up on comments. I know.
Okay.
You've been kind of going whiskey crazy. So a lot of people watch the Scotch Test Dummies. Yeah, cheers to them. They're great guys. Scott and Bart. Oh man, that whiskey's intense. Sorry. I've added water too. Any other questions we have? I'm just gonna catching up.
Okay.
8 and 12 says a Brianna. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask us, about the whiskeys specifically. And I'll just ask now that if you are drinking a whiskey at home, shoot a comment and just let us know what you're drinking.
Yeah, tell us what you're drinking. Tell us what you're drinking.
Yeah, we're flying right now. I can starting to feel it. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a Society cask. Obviously, if it is, that would be great. let us know either way and kind of join in. So.
Nice. Okay. So not picking any favorites, although this was the Amanda's selection of April. This is a distillery that I really do seek out. It never disappoints. Never disappoints.
Price at $125, which is price point is the last cask, the 9.124. And the first two, just to kind of remind, I think they're $100 for the first two as well.
Really good. This is perfect with sea salt chocolate as per usual. My decadent guilty pleasure. Okay. Reluctantly, let's leave that one behind and move on to the next one. How about that?
Yeah, I left no prisoners there, so that one will never be lost. Just not to give away my opinion just yet, but
dearly departed. Got it. Okay, so we are now on the 6th cask that we are trying today. The 5th of the ones that were released in April, just today. It is from distillery number 3, cask number 304. And another distillery that I tend to really love. Actually, I feel like this Outturn was made for me, I have to say. Shout out to Mr. Tom Smith.
So 3304, this is a classic Islay single cask Scotch whiskey, refill barrel ex-bourbon, bottle at 56%. So
wow, this doesn't require one, in my opinion, at all.
So it's interesting. I think a lot of people who are tuned in are a lot of whiskey enthusiasts. If you're a little new to whiskey too, just kind of explain. We talk about peat smoke with the last one. It's the process of, in layman's terms, smoking the barley to then kind of give the smoky characteristics of a whiskey. What's interesting is when you put a peated spirit in oak and let it age, the longer it ages, typically the more subdued the peat flavor or aroma rather it really is. And so 18 years, I think it's a decent amount of time for an Islay whiskey.
Oh, it's more than decent. Yeah, that's on the high side for an Islay whiskey.
Yeah, it's a lot of Islay whiskeys that I really enjoy are bottled around 8 to 10, maybe 12 years.
Yeah. They say the sweet spot is a solid 9 years is what you see a lot of coming out.
Yeah, I think it really, I think it probably depends on the distillery, but absolutely. I drink a lot of young, 8 to 9, I think is a great age. But I think there's a different experience to be had with these older ones. And this is 18, which is kind of on that cusp of when peat becomes really mellow, but it's still hanging on, if you will.
Wow. Oh, so good.
You need to communicate with words, but I'm
not picking any favorites, but I might put this one aside and take it with me after this. It's a good one.
So kind of what this is, interesting. So right away, classic Islay. There's those classic notes of thick coastal peat smoke. It's there. It's a bit mellow. There's some freshly cracked sea salt. It's very old, but when you kind of dig in a little deeper, just nosing it, it's very tropical. There are these notes and these beautiful aromas of mango and papaya.
Yeah, I was going to say some passion fruit as well.
I'm not
ripened fruit.
Yeah, I'm no tropical fruit expert, but it does remind me of some Islay whiskeys that have actually been matured longer than 25 years, maybe around 30 years. That's kind of a characteristic that tends to develop for really old whiskeys. And so at 18, this seems to have matured quickly. Wow.
There is that slight funk to it on the palate. And that funk to me is very distinct sometimes. It's often savory. Again, I'm happy to drink whiskey with food, and this to me is a real easy choice for a cheese board and some honey drizzled on that cheese. And
Andrew Ward comments, cannot wait to open 3.304. Thanks for helping today, Ben. Oh yeah, Andrew called in as soon as our Outturn was released and we sent the email out to members. He actually purchased this whiskey as soon as possible. So cheers to you.
Andrew. You will not be disappointed.
I guess your bottle will be arriving shortly.
Yeah.
This is stellar. I think this is one of the better casks. I mean, they're all there. I know you love all of them. I'm super critical of bottled whiskey because I just spend so much time drinking it. But I think this is one of the best casks that have come out from this distillery, that I've seen.
Wow, bold statement. Bold
statement. It's not like a whiskey that screams at you on the surface. It's like it's a straight kind of mellow, American oak ex-bourbon refill barrel. It's not even first fill. It's kind of an older cask, perhaps, but everything is really in line with this one. It's just classic, and I just feel like they've checked all the boxes in developing something that's complex as this just from one cask. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I really like it.
It's hard to believe this sort of complexity is coming from a single cask in this case. Totally mind blowing. Again, I'm starting to feel like this Outturn was designed for me. A lot of my favorite distilleries across the board, a lot of my favorite tasting notes, although we're not picking favorites, but this one is a good pickup for sure. The price point on it, for those curious, it is ringing in at $180 US, and that is, again, cask 3.304. Really delightful Isla, an 18-year-old, really, really nice, subtle notes of tropical fruit, as well as that nice peat and a really nice, really good weighty sea salt in there.
So checking out the comments, Jason's asking, has anyone tried 134.2? Answer that question, help a guy out.
Wait, what was it, that number?
That's 134.2. Jason in the UK is asking.
Okay.
Mr. Nickhorn, still enjoying 64.85. Looking forward to more of these. Awesome. I think you'll be happy with more to come. Someone's enjoying 10.118. Oh, that seems to be a popular one.
Yeah, it is, and I love that one. I love that one.
That came out. That's a 10-year-old Isla that came out a couple weeks ago, just from a part of our March digital Outturn, and it sold out within hours. So not surprised because everyone picked it up.
But an exquisite Isla as well.
The Whiskey Watch says pretty excited for 4.226. The Whiskey Watch is part of our Bottle per Month Club. We have a lot of members who sign up, and every month we kind of choose the highlighted cask to kind of send them automatically. And so if you're looking for a good variety and you're just interested in trying new things, it's a good way. So yeah, Whiskey Watch will be receiving yours shortly. Excited to hear what you think about that.
Yeah, Whiskey Watch, you approve of the selection of the month?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, and the 134.2, that was actually our Indian single malt whiskey that we released. One of 4 casks, actually.
Yeah. I had the privilege of tasting that on the tasting panel a couple of years ago, and that whiskey was really, really, really delicious for the age statement. It was as to be expected coming out of the climate that it was coming out of. Extremely ripe.
3.304.
Are you done with that?
Are you? Or am I catching? Am I behind?
Oh boy.
Are you on the next one?
Mm-mm. I'm just saying goodbye.
You're pouring healthy pours over there. I can see that. Yeah. Okay. I see what's going on now. I'm pouring like these little guys.
Yeah. Well, this is actually the one that you sent me in the mail.
This one's a stunner. So for those of you who got it, it sounds like some of you did. Andrew, I know you called earlier today and ordered it.
Nice.
Shoot us a note. Yeah, obviously, you can email us. I think I have in the description of this video. You'll see put our contact info. Shoot us an email. Any questions you have, questions about the society, if you're a member or not, feel free to email us. Call anytime. But yeah, we're always eager to hear what our members think of these whiskeys too.
Yeah.
We try to curate a list of different casks every month to really appeal to really kind of everybody with different flavor preferences.
Yeah.
Your feedback is appreciated.
Nice. Are you ready, Ben, to jump into the last cask?
I have it in front of me. Let's do it.
Okay. Shall we? Wow. Okay.
We had so just a little backstory. Amanda and I were going through, I'm going to just call this out. Amanda and I were going through the list of whiskeys that come, and of the month of April, and it was obviously like Christmas morning. And so we kind of had a little like pick your, you're like in your elementary school, you're picking a kickball team or something. It was very much like a, at recess team selection process. And so I wanted to fight for this one. There was a moment where you called this one. And so I have a sample in front of me. I'm excited to try it, but I can't fight. Oh, you want to show the bottle?
Yeah, but this is where the bottle came to. Yeah, I'm in love with this whiskey. It's called Fruits de Mer. It is 29.222. It's a 19-year-old, again, from Islay. So a 19-year-old Islay whiskey in a refill hoggy, ex-bourbon. And we are at 50.6 ABV, which is a nice way to end, actually. What do you think on the nose, Ben, from that little sample I sent you in the mail?
So it really kind of brings me back to, I think, a very traditional Islay malt experience. It's what you want it to be. It's interesting at this age, and we talked earlier about how peat kind of becomes more mellow over time and how flavors evolve. Right away, though, it's so medicinal, and the notes of like seaweed and brine really just explode out of the glass. And so it might be an older one, but it's very, very vibrant, just on the aroma, just right away. It does, but when you get into it, there's another story here. There's more to tell. It's a malty, it's a nice kind of old dampened wood type of aroma to it. And it's a little sweet, just on the kind of the back end, on the nose. It's sweet, and I'm thinking of like, I don't know, just freshly cut grass sort of element, a bit of like pine. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, it's out of this world. For those viewers who have been to the beautiful Isle of Islay, coming right off the plane, this is what the billowing smoke smells like. Very vegetal. There's a lot of that. The peat, of course, that Islay is known for. But because I think it's at that 19-year-old age segment, it is kind of subdued for peat, I would say. And very easy to drink straight out of the bottle at 50.6 alcohol by volume. And after all those years cooking, at 19 years, it's perfect as is, I think. Would you have over this, Ben? I wouldn't, but maybe to each their own.
Well, so we're, Cask Distillery number 29 is very popular among society members. We're trying to put one out. We can every month because they go so quickly and people enjoy them so much. And I just think because when you get beyond 10 years and you get to like 15 plus, a lot happens from 15 to 20 different years. And so we can have a 19-year-old one month, or, I know someone mentioned they were drinking 29.220, which I believe is a 20-year, a bit older. This is, it's very, very different. Yeah, it's a very different whiskey. It's much more powerful and intense. I'm going to add some water just to see what happens.
Okay, all right. Starting down at 50.6, so.
Yeah, so like no surprise, I guess adding water subdues the peat a little bit, brings out some more fruit notes. I think it's beautiful. It's something I'm thinking like, now I'm getting hungry because this is our 7th whiskey, but I'm thinking like raw oysters, maybe some smoked fish would be perfect with this.
Oh yeah, totally nailed it. Smoked trout, oysters for sure. Anything raw bar. I love the name, Fruits de Mer. It's totally, it's a great name for something that's so smoky, but has these really nice fruit notes that are popping out. And I'm assuming, Ben, they're even better with a little bit of water.
So I think if you're into Islay whiskey, we've had 3 peated whiskeys just now. We had one from Orkney, different type of peat. Yeah, I guess the peat bogs are very different from distillery to distillery in Islay. But we had the 4.226, which is a kind of a sweet heathery peat, but at 64.5% ABV, really, really intense. Then we went to 3.304, which was for 18 years old, tasted like a 25 to 30-year-old Islay whiskey. Bit more mellow, peat is a bit more faint, even though I think traditionally from that distillery it would be more intense than the previous. But I love that this one is classic in every way. And even when you add water, it's the richest of them all. Oh, it's great. It's really good.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's out of this world. Any questions or comments coming in on 29.222, which is retailing at $225 US. Any questions?
Yeah, so it looks like a lot of people are talking about a lot of the 134.1s. We're talking about those and comparing that to the 0.2. Those are still available on our site.
Yeah,
just came out recently. The Indian whiskey is really kind of grown in popularity and just interest overall.
Nice. As it should, those Indian single casks are dynamite.
So what do you think? I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite child.
Maybe we should do a quick roundup of quick roundup of all 6 of the April Outturns. Just go right through it. Starting with that 2835. If you remember A Song of Spring and Summer, this was the one that I believe, Ben, you said Morning Dew, correct?
Morning Dew. Yeah, like a very well, I guess a cold summer morning, which relatively speaking, I'm here in Chicago. It's freezing right now, but I'm thinking, a little bit chilly in the morning. You wake up. The best time to drink whiskey is right when you wake up. I'm kidding.
That is off the record. The second one is 112.18, a name that I love, A Culinary Trip Around Britain. I think the name to me is very indicative of food pairing, a nice savory element. You said something about salmon and dill, and I think I could have this easily with that beef stew as well. Yeah. We were discussing.
It's very meaty and like malty as well. But
very malty. Okay, and then the second from distillery number 9, so 9.124. To me, that one was completely different than the first distillery 9, that chili lime popcorn that is also still available on our website.
Yeah, that one was like heavy notes like rose water. Like I think it described like a rice wine almost.
Very aromatic.
Yeah, very floral, aromatic aroma. Like I really enjoyed nosing that one. That's for me kind of like an aperitif. Like just if I'm gonna have a few whiskeys in an evening, I'd probably start along with that one.
Okay, that's a good place to start. I agree. Moving right along to 3.304.
I think 4226.
Oh, okay. Whoops. Sorry, guys. The delicious and delightful Orkney. So 4.226. What did we say about that one? Other than that it was my selection. So it is smoked plum lemonade. I found this in 2 words to be or 3 words, floral, and it's that floral peat that is very indicative of Orkney. Very delicate, light, but of course has a nice drop of smoke and savoriness.
Yeah, I know a lot of people purchased this one since it came out this afternoon, and this is the one that we tasted with the Scotch test dummies. And just to recap, it's a total enthusiast dram. I mean, it's as much fun as I think I've had with a whiskey. And with an alcohol content that's so high, at 64.5%, you have a lot of room to play and kind of customize it to your own personal palate, if you will. So starting off, it's very raw and intense. You bring it down, it becomes a bit more familiar to other spirits, more commercial products from the distillery. I love it, and I love that evolution that takes place. And I think for $125, it's just hard to find something that will be as fun. It's something that I value in a whiskey. I want to have some fun. Ultimately, if I'm drinking whiskey, it's usually a good time, not a bad time. So
it's always a good time. Okay, great. And then moving to that 3.304. Again, not picking favorites. Hard not to. Wow. What was the age on this one again, Ben? Was it 18 or 19?
Yeah, 3304 was an interesting one. It's an 18-year-old. if I had tasted it blind, I would say it's at least 25 years old, just on the qualities that have to, that has developed in the time in the cask. It's a little tropical, a bit malty, very floral. It's so pleasant on the nose. The palate really draws you in. It's a stunner. Probably one of the best casks from the distillery that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, for sure. And that is a distillery that I seek out and collect personally, even though I don't recommend doing that blindly necessarily, because sometimes that is disappointing. But this is by far one of the best casks that I've seen from Distillery 3. It's really hard to believe that so much complexity is coming out of a single cask. And this is when the nature of single casks really surprises me and amazes me. So very exquisite. Moving on to our last, which was that 29.222. Again, still staying on the Isle of Islay. Still getting, for me, it smells like landing in Islay. It smells like the billowy pillars of smoke, of peat, savory, and at only 50.6 ABV, I can drink this one as is, but when you add a little water to it, Ben was saying that that fruit element, it's called fruits de mer, the fruit element really pops open, which is very pleasant for an Islay. It's very balanced.
Yeah, generally, when you add water to a whiskey, it's common that the fruit flavors contained within will come out more of. Alcohol itself, as a toxin, tends to kind of restrict like fruit flavors typically. So when you have a peated whiskey, I just think the experience when you have something that's older and has that fruity element, but in such a delicate way, it's really it's just a beautiful experience to be had, along with the smoke and the kind of rich coastal sea breeze. I think that's as classic as an Islay whiskey can get. And at age, at that cask strength, it's vibrant, but also still very mature. It's beautiful.
Yeah, just that touch of medicinal element on the nose that Islays can be known for, but really opens up to that nice fruit and smoke palette. I could spend a lot of time with this bottle, and it's a total splurge at $225 US. As a reminder, all of these came out today, so act quickly. The worst emails are the ones that we get when we have to disappoint members when they are dearly departed, as we call them. So if anything piques your interest, I would visit smwsa.com ASAP.
Yeah, 29.222 at $225. It's certainly the priciest whiskey that's on the table this evening, but I think you'd be hard pressed to argue that it doesn't offer good value for the experience. I know since we went live with this a few hours ago and it's now available for purchase, a lot of people have purchased this since. I think just because it's unique expression from this distillery at this age, it's hard to find things at pure cask strength, straight from the cask from this distillery of this age. And so, yeah, I think the value of this one is absolute.
Yeah, I agree, Ben. I totally agree. Any other questions coming through before we wrap up?
A lot of people are just going back and forth, kind of sharing what they're drinking. So Santa Cruz Inn is just opening right now, 36.112, dark jungle of flavor. Sounds great.
Wow, that sounds great.
Tom R is asking a question. What are your thoughts on meeting an old master? I do have quite an opinion. That's a beautiful whiskey. It's unlike anything from the distillery. It's a true sherry matured Highland, it's called Speyside whiskey that's been 25 years in an Oloroso sherry butt, very dry and nutty Oloroso, and then it's been 2 years in the first fill Pedro Jimenez cask. So you had this real cool interplay between the old dignified notes of Oloroso after a quarter century, and then this first fill PX cask that adds this very vibrant fruity element. So there's a lot going on in it. It's probably one of the more complex whiskeys that I've experienced from a single cask in a long time. Mind you, did spend time in 2 casks. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
I realize I sound a little biased because I do work for this company.
Now you do.
But when I haven't tasted it since being employed, I mean, before I was really enjoying that one, and so it's a special whiskey.
Yeah, that is a special one. I I spent a good evening with that one myself.
Yeah.
It felt like a celebration.
Blue Devil 01 says you should consider a bundled deal, including all the month's outturns with some built-in discount. Blue Devil, that's a great point. We've had some people ask for that. Shoot us an email below if you'd like, info@SMWSA. Be happy to talk about that. Also, you can just kind of reach out to us directly on Instagram, but email is preferred. It will be around all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so someone just said, Santa Cruz also just said ordered a bunch of rum from SMWS, looking forward to arriving. That's awesome. I think rum is something that don't know very much about, but since joining the society, actually before that, I've been able to, Amanda and I did a tasting with, how many casks? We did a lot. How many was that?
I think 5. We did 5.
We tasted 5 casks, and it really has opened my eyes. And I think a lot of whiskey drinkers are really kind of just taking a liking to single cask rum.
Yeah. I think it's a very natural next step when it comes to single cask exploration. The rums that we're seeing from the society are out of this world. I have a few favorites in there that are still available on the website, kind of flying under the radar, specifically one by the Welcome to Jam Rum, as I've mentioned a few times now.
Yeah, so guys, as we kind of wrap up this tasting, I just want to kind of throw this out there. Obviously, I know a lot of you are members. It sounds like that's great. We did plan on doing this, and we want to continue doing this to help people such as yourself really understand the Outturn and what's available, and ultimately make an educated purchase decision based on opinions of Amanda and I, two very different people with different palates. And it's fun to see, Amanda, how you and I contrast and compare on some things, because ultimately we're just two individuals, but. We'll be doing more of these, helping you with content, just to make that informed purchase decision. Excuse me. For those of you who are not members, I know there's some of you as well. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, please let us know. Right now, I'll just say we're doing just a very limited promo for the next week. I want to say, if you're not a member or you're interested in joining, we're offering a $25 gift card towards the purchase of your first bottle. So if you're in the United States, interested in joining, you have a couple options. You can purchase a base membership at $99. You can also purchase a bundle that includes a bottle that we've chosen for $150. And for $175, you can get a membership and a tasting kit. But for a limited time, if you don't want the whiskey that's available in the bundle and you want to choose your own, if you sign up for the base membership, in the notes, you can just put April 25. I'll just repeat that because we're not writing that, but down, it's very secretive. April 25 in the notes. What we'll do is after you join the $99 base membership, we'll shoot you a little gift card via email, and you can use that towards the purchase of your first bottle. So all of these that we've tasted today are now available, and we can also kind of guide you guys through other things that are on the website.
Cool. Yeah, just to echo Ben, thank you everyone for tuning in. The idea here is to really help get some information out there about our casks per month. Ben and I are hoping to do this once a month going forward, right when the Outturn, our new casks are released in the beginning of the month. And it's a hard job, but someone has to do it, right, Ben?
Yeah.
And we'll get the information out there as best as we can to omit that blind tasting that does happen. We understand that it's sometimes hard to commit to something when you haven't tasted it, but we're here to help with all of our opinions of trying many single casks of whiskey. It's a hard job, but we love it. Thank you so much. And no favorites here, but I am ending the night with 3.304 myself.
I'm ending the night with 9.113, the older cask, not from the April Outturn, just because it's the only one still in my glass, because we're going to move through that.
Oh, wow. You did well, Ben. You did well.
So, I want to just quick shout out. Thank you to everybody in the comments trying to catch up. Whiskey Watch, Whiskey Entitled, Santa Cruz, Scotch for Everyone, Brianna, Jason Whiskey Wise, Tom R says, I will make every live show you do. YouTube is better for me than Instagram. Agreed. That's why we're doing this here.
Awesome.
Blue 001, shoot us an email about the bundle. We'd be happy to help. Anyway,
nice.
I can go on and on and on, but thank you guys. This is awesome. We're doing this for you. And so
thank you guys. Be sure to follow us at SMWS America on Instagram. Of course, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Ben at Single Malt Alliance and me at Lady Amanda Victoria. We're always happy to help any questions that you guys have. We love to talk to our members. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night in spring. Cheers.